Hello, everyone. This is Colleen Vanderzijden. This is Embracing Your Essence on Lilydale Radio. I do believe, finally live on Facebook. We will find out shortly. But I'm so happy you're joining me tonight. We are going to be talking about finding hope in the dark. And we are going through quite the time here everywhere. And so we are going to give you some ideas to help you handle what's happening so that you can feel more like yourself and you can feel better. But before I get to all of that, I do want to tell you that Lilydale's website has been updated, lilydaleassembly.org. You can find out what's happening for the 2020 summer season, which is what we are doing right now. You can find out, get the details, because you know with the COVID-19, there are some changes here. So you can find all that right there on lilydaleassembly.org. You can also go to Lilydale Assembly Incorporated to see what's coming up, events, various workshops that are all held online and everything else. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Darlene. Nice to see you both. Yeah, we always have a little technical difficulty. I start to go live and then it doesn't go. But we're here now, so it's all good. You can also connect with me on my website, ColleenVanderzijden.com. I will be teaching 2 workshops this summer, both of them online. One is the Navigating the New Reality After Loss. It is about grief and how we handle grief, giving us some ideas on how to move forward after we've had losses. This will be on July 18th from 2 to 5 in the afternoon, and it is online. The next one I'm doing is the Empowered Empath. And you can see that to July 22nd, 7 to 10 p.m. And you can get more information at my website, ColleenVanderzijden.com. So there we go. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. Hello, everybody. Hi, Bristol. Nice seeing you. Hi, Julie. Yes, we are here and we are live from Lilydale. Hi, Barb. You're here with me right from the beginning. How awesome is this? So we are going to talk today, like I said a little bit earlier, we are going to talk about finding hope in the dark, because it seems like right now everything is falling apart. And I have had so many of my clients asking me if I can touch in psychically to find out what's going to happen. When is this going to end? When will this pandemic be over with? When will we get back to normal? People are asking questions about the energetic components, of course. They want to know why people are the way they are, why some people are so full of hatred and are so divisive. They want to know why people don't understand that there's a different way that they could be living. And so a lot of people are bringing these things up to me in sessions or on the street, for that matter. And these conversations usually lead into their own personal lives, how their personal lives are going, what's going on with them. So many people everywhere are concerned because they haven't seen their family and their friends for months. I had a client whose husband is literally in another country. They haven't seen each other in 5 months. I had another one whose partner was someplace else. She hasn't seen him in a long time. So there's all these concerns about this. And when we get to a certain point, we can handle uncertainty for a while. If we see the end in sight, but we're not seeing the end in sight. And that's what's causing a lot of the problems, because it seems like this is never going to end. We're never going to see our friends again. We're never going to see our family again. We're never going to travel again. It seems like everything is just all over the place right now. And some of the people I've been talking to, they're also talking about the concerns with the money, of course, and the jobs. Will I be permanently laid off? We were supposed to go back to work, but now we're not. Or we went back to work, but now we're not working again. So many things. People are concerned about the unemployment ending. Some are dealing with health issues, new diagnoses, and they're concerned about that. So this uncertainty is very much concerning people. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on here for me because of how I've been experiencing things. And you know me pretty well. By now, you've probably figured out that everything I talk about are things that I've needed to learn or have been things that are important to me at this time or whenever. I've done about 250 shows now between this Lilydale radio show and the A1R that I used to be on. And can you imagine? I've had like 250 issues, but here we are. So for me, what's been going on here is I'm usually got things pretty well planned out. I know what I'm going to do. I know how I'm going to get there. I moved into this house very suddenly and I've been here 6 weeks or something. Love it. It's great. The only thing is I don't want to be here in the winter and it's a little too small. So there's some questions about whether I'm going to stay here. The original plan was I was going to find a different house and move there. But then the next question was, where am I going to move? So because I don't know, I'm not doing anything. Okay, so the uncertainty is there. Then I have a little bit of uncertainty because I perform in the Area Philharmonic, and will we start up performing? We're supposed to have our first concert the second weekend in September. Probably not. So what's going to happen there? I want to take my mother to Maine so we can have some fun there, go to the ocean, have some lobster. I don't know how that's going to work out, so there's so many moving pieces. And because I'm a sensitive person as well, I do pick up on other people's energies. Part of my job, of course, but also otherwise as well. And when there's so much going on around me, it can really be disconcerting. So one day I woke up and I did not feel like myself at all. I did not. All I could think of was, oh my God, I just want to run away. I just want to go someplace, forget about everything. I want to get away. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. All of that. And I could tell what was happening is that I was starting to move into this feeling of hopelessness. And even though I know 100,000,000% that every time I feel like there's never going to be an ending or it's not going to get better, I should just give up, whenever I get that feeling, I also know that that means everything is now going to change. It's that phrase, something along the lines of the darkest before the dawn or something like that. And that's what I understood that to be. I understood that when I'm feeling that down and for no reason, there was nothing wrong, but for no reason, picking up on all of that energies, I understood that it was a good sign, but even knowing that didn't help me feel better. So I started to really kind of think about this, and me, I always have to find something with this. So for all of us, this is a long time to not know what's going to happen, how we're going to get there. Not just with the bigger picture, but our own lives, our own personal lives. And it can feel like everything is falling apart. And the problem here is that the uncertainty is the new normal, and we don't know how to handle it. And for some people, this uncertainty can lead to feelings of hopelessness. It's not going to get better. We feel powerless. We don't know what to do to change things. And we've been talking for a little while now, actually, about the consciousness shift. We've been talking about how the darkness is being exposed in all aspects of society. Everything, externally as well as internally within ourselves. And we understand this intellectually. And if you're anything like me, at times it's still a struggle. And now, with all of this uncertainty, we think that things couldn't possibly get worse, right? And then, surprise, surprise, here's something else. Or then we start really getting the dread about what could happen, and then the astonishment of what did happen, and we just wonder what is going on. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. So nice to see you all. We're going to have some fun talking about this. So what I'm doing is I'm talking about finding hope in the dark, just kind of describing how a lot of us are feeling right now, and then we are going to talk about some ideas to help you get back to the light of your soul. And again, you know me, this is not going to be the normal thing of, just focus on the positive. It's not going to be that. I have some different perspectives on this, some different ways of looking at things that really helped me the other day. And I understand the whole reason I was feeling the way I was so I could share this with you. Isn't that amazing? I tell you, Spirit really knows what Spirit is doing. So I'm going to share some of those ideas. So right now, what's happening is we're releasing our own darkness. We feel helpless and hopeless because we were under the illusion that we had control. We thought we knew what was true. We thought we knew what we were doing. We thought we understood life. We were believing these paradigms, and we felt like what we were doing was normal. What we lived was normal. And whether we can use the word normal anymore as a definition, I don't think so. But now we really don't know. We don't know what's really true. But of course, it's being exposed to us and helping us figure out who we are, how we want to live, how society is going to be. And what we're learning as all of this is coming up is that we can't control the uncontrollable. I cannot control somebody rioting in a different city. I can't control that. Even if they're rioting in my city, I can't control it. I can't control the virus. No one can control the virus. We can do our best to protect ourselves and other people, but that's all we can do. We're learning right now, this hopelessness is leading us to learning. And it's very important that we acknowledge what's happening here. We're learning what's important. And what is important is, in my perception, is our connection to the soul. And with that connection to the soul, we are connected to everyone and the universal energy, the divine energy that is there as a part of our soul. Hopelessness is a sign that it's time to get back to our soul's light. We have to get back to the light of our soul. We have to access it. When we're in the light, we're in our power. Okay, and this is not the power of control where we want to know what's happening or what we should be doing. And I cannot tell you how many people have asked me those questions, where we try, and it's not the control where we try to force somebody else to see our perspective. It is the soul's power of surrendering. And I've talked about surrendering in the past, and I'm going to talk about it more tonight. Surrendering, which is, of course, not the idea of giving up in despair. Surrendering is not, oh, I give up. It's not that. It's a conscious decision to let go of the control, and we're allowing ourselves to be guided. We're allowing ourselves to be guided by the divine energy. And when we surrender, we actually will feel better. And I will talk about that in a little bit more. And a great comment I had from a client this week too. It was just beautiful. So how do we get back to this? How do we get back to that light? I know we're a big how to do person. I'm a how to do person. I want to know what to do to get there. I don't want somebody to just tell me, and I don't want to just tell you, well, just meditate and you'll be there. I don't want to do that. I want to give you certain things to think about, certain things to open your mind to a new way of looking at some of these feelings we've been experiencing. So many people are feeling hopeless right now. We don't see the end. We don't know what's going to happen. So we want to acknowledge that and recognize it's there. So even though it appears things are falling apart, remember they're not. They're just, things are peeling away. We're going deep so that we can shift and we can bring up the truth. That's what's happening. So of course, we want to think about that in the back of our minds, of course. So for our strategies, for ideas, for cultivating hope, we have to face the hopelessness and the uncertainty in order to cultivate the hope. Because if we don't face them, that means we're ignoring how we really feel. So the first one is, of course, going to be surrender, because we have to accept that what we're experiencing is the new normal, in quotes. It's the new normal. Uncertainty is hard. We all want to know. We all want to know something. And what we want reassurance. We want to know it's going to be okay. If we get too far ahead, we can start to see the possibilities and we don't like it. And Doris is saying her dreams are so real with guidance. Yes. And we will get that guidance if we allow it to come in. So when you're sleeping, you have surrendered. And so the information can come right through. Nice little segue there, Doris. So this is perfect. So we resist this uncertainty. We're searching for answers. And that's why people are asking me, well, what do you think? Is this going to happen? Do you see the end in sight? We want to know. But what if there aren't answers? What if we're not supposed to know? What if we're learning to be present right here in this moment instead of worrying about what's coming, could come, what might come, all of that? If we surrender, we allow the universe to guide us. The universe will take us where we need to go. When I was struggling the other day and I was feeling hopeless and all that, I was resisting it. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to feel sad. I didn't want to feel helpless. And even with everything I tell you and everything I teach, I still have my moments. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. And I just tried to push it aside. I'm going to look at Allison's comment for a minute. I was feeling really down about everything. Then I decided to focus on my energy on taking better care of myself. What can I learn? What better foods can I put in my body? Hoping this will help the mood. Perfect, Allison. Absolutely perfect. She did exactly what I would tell people to do. What can you learn? How can you take this situation and learn from it? And that's what we're doing right now, right? We're learning from this. So when I was having my issue and I was resisting it, what I ended up doing to help me, start to shift out of my own thoughts in my head was I pulled out my Course in Miracles book. And I was reading a lesson there, lesson 45, for those of you who have it. And what it says is, God is the mind with which I think. And I said to myself, God is the mind with which I think. And I started to think about this. And with that, it shows that my thoughts are God's thoughts. Okay, there is no separation. And when I started to consider this at a deeper level, I really understood that my resistance to facing feeling hopeless and feeling sad was really a separation. I had separated from God's thoughts, from God's mind, from the divine energy. I had separated from that. I wasn't thinking from my God mind. I was thinking from the human fear-based mind. Now, it's not that I was sitting there going, oh, I wonder about this, I worry about this, I worry about that. I wasn't doing that, but it was in my head. You know, when we have, even though we're not consciously aware of it, everything that's around us now is affecting us. And so in the back of our minds, we may have some of these fear-based thoughts about what could happen, or we may just be tired of the energy there. So when I read this and I started thinking about this, that my thoughts are God's thoughts, God is the mind with which I think, I started thinking about that, got me back into that feeling of surrender and to allow everything to go where it's supposed to go. I could allow my God mind, if you will, to take care of the details. I don't have to know the details. I don't have to know how I'm going to get there. I don't have to know where I'm going. I don't have to know, because I'm just going to surrender and allow the energy to take me where we need to go. Madeline is saying, trust, and I will be getting to that. Yes, I will. What will come is dependent on how we are in the present. Very much so. Yes, very much so. So I only have to know that in surrendering, I will be guided. That's the only thing I have to know. So I'm giving my fears away. I'm surrendering that all is as it should be. Some people have an issue with the concept of surrendering. And I know the first time I heard somebody mention this, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. No way. We've been taught to work hard, keep going, push through obstacles, all this stuff. And yes, there's something to be said for continuing on your path, going after your dreams, seeing what you can do with those obstacles, okay? But there's also, with that comes the feeling of, I'm just going to allow it to come to me. I'm going to allow it to unfold. I'll still take action. I'll still work towards my dream. I'll still work towards having more peace. But I'm going to allow the God energy to come in and help me. And that's really what it is. That's what surrendering is. When you surrender, there's nothing to worry about. When I surrender, I get back to the love and the light of God, and I'm connected to my soul's energy, which is connected to everything. And then I am one with the God mind. And when I'm one with the God mind, I'm back in my hope, because I've given up trying to control things to give myself something to hope for. And I will talk more about this stuff too, as we get going here. And hopefully I won't talk too long tonight. We'll see, but I'll try to keep it there. Are we getting downloads from Source to help us ascend? Oh, that's a great question, Doris Lind. That's such a good question. I would say that everything that's happening is helping us ascend. I would say everything that's happening right now is helping us face our darkness, helping us recognize where the truth is and where the truth has been kind of left behind or never seen. And so we're getting a lot of different information now. And everybody is picking up on things differently. So we have to honor how other people are progressing through this time, how they're feeling through this time, where one day I feel sad, the next day I feel great and so empowered. So we have to cut ourselves a little bit slack here and just allow ourselves to be how we are and allow ourselves to surrender to the better good here. Now, when I was going through all this stuff, the next thing that happened, of course, connected, was that I realized I was pushing the emotions away. As much as I always talk about feeling your emotions, it's so important. You've got to feel them. Don't ignore them. Don't deny them. Don't suppress them. I was doing it. And when I realized it, I thought, oh gosh, here we go again. Because you think you've learned something, but no, it keeps coming back because we've got to learn it again. We've just got to keep doing it. And I just sat there with it and I thought, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I don't like it, but this is how I'm feeling. I didn't try to really figure out why, but I could tell that a lot of it was some of my own frustrations with the uncertainty in my own life, but most of it was really the uncertainty of everything else. Picking up on other people's sadness, their worries, their concerns, watching people fighting and arguing and putting other people down was really getting to me. And I was holding on to some of that energetically. it's a good thing because sometimes I can hold on to that and lift it up for other people. But sometimes if I'm not aware, it can just kind of seep in here. When I obsessively look at the news or Facebook, doom scrolling, as a friend of mine calls it, that's a great one, isn't it? Doom scrolling. I could see what I was doing was, it was a form of control. I wasn't surrendered. I was a form of control. If I know more, then I can handle it better. But what was happening, the more I saw things, and I wasn't doing it that much, but it was too much for me. The more I did it, it was creating more of that unease in my energetic field, and kind of contributing to this hopelessness. And then, of course, even with the lunar eclipse, some people believe in astrological things, some don't. But that lunar eclipse we just had was all about bringing up crap, bringing more of that dark side up. And so I know I do get affected by those things. So the first thing is really surrendering. The second one is feel the emotions. And I don't know if I can ever emphasize that enough. We have to recognize them. If we are coping in unhealthy ways, too much ice cream, too much alcohol, or whatever it is, that's not good. I know that when I'm feeling depressed, I tend to gloss over it. I tend to just kind of go, yeah, so I'm depressed today. It'll be fine. I'm not facing it. And I tend to do that. And I know that, which is good. So at least I don't stay there too long. So this episode, we'll call it, was a great reminder for me to acknowledge and honor what I feel. So many of us now are experiencing some forms of grief, and we need to, Ashley just said, Facebook is bringing me down big time. I know. And some days you can find some really awesome, funny things on there. And then other days you just feel like, do we have to? But we're having this grief over what we've lost. Now, so much of us are having grief, and many of us are not acknowledging it. We are not willing to accept that we are experiencing grief. Grief doesn't always just go with when we've lost a person or an animal. Grief happens when we've lost our normalcy. It happens when we aren't physically connected to the people we want to be physically connected to. It happens when we watch two people we love fighting. It happens all over the place, losing our jobs, being concerned about money, everything. We have so much grief happening now. What we believe to be true isn't there, the way we used to live. And even now we start to, look ahead a little bit and we go, does this mean for the rest of my life I have to, stay 6 feet away from people? And do I always have to have a mask? And, we start getting ahead of ourselves and worrying too much. And so we need to acknowledge those emotions. We feel hopeless when we're stuck in emotions. And what I mean by that is our brains are going crazy in there. We can't get out of feeling sad or whatever. And so that hopelessness, if we can feel the hopelessness, if we can feel the emotions, feel the grief, what will that will do is it's releasing the stuck energy. So when you are stuck in an emotion, there's a clog in your body, if you will, in your energetic field. And if you don't deal with it, it kind of builds up that clog there. But if you recognize it, and it doesn't mean you have to go break down and have this big gigantic cry or anything like that. If you want to, you go ahead. Doesn't mean you have to scream, but if you want to, you go ahead. Whatever you have to do to move that energy. It's important that when we're working with things like hopelessness and the darkness and the consciousness shift, that we do acknowledge that energetic component in here. Because with the emotions, it does affect our energies. So when we feel them, we're releasing that. As we release that, our energies flow better and we can connect to the hope. We're actually making room for it. I'm going to check the comments again. Somebody's saying, I felt really tired on Monday. Yes, mine was Sunday. Kim, the world is just unknown. It is. Doris Lynn, I feel the warriors on earth who are beacons of light need to help humanity right now. A lot of lost souls feeling hopeless. That reminds me, I got this great writing. Somebody sent it to me and I was going to post it on my page and I forgot. And it was all about the beacons of light, basically, and how we are here right now at this time because we're supposed to be, and how we're here for each other. I will post it. Can somebody just write it in the comments to remind me to post that? Because by tomorrow, I may not remember I ever said that. So if you could say something like, please post that article and I'll know what it is. Thank you. Mick, the loss so many of us are feeling through this is creating this space for something better to manifest. Yes, exactly. And that's what's happening. When we're processing the emotions, we're creating that space so the hope can get back in. Okay, so the first one's surrendering. Second one was feeling the emotions. And like I said, I don't think I could stop harping on that. So many of us do deny that. And, there we go. The third thing, the next thing I did was to intentionally bring in light. Intentionally. Our souls are a part of the divine energy. And as such, we have that direct connection to the light. We have it there. That light is love. What I did an energetic process. And I was sitting at my little breakfast bar near the kitchen area, and I envisioned the light and the love in my heart. So I was seeing it in my mind's eye. Okay, I was trying to feel it as well. And then what I did with it is I was trying to just with my breath expand it. And as I expanded it, I wanted to, and I did, create a bubble around myself. I wanted to create a bubble. So the energies that are out there were not going to affect me. I needed to protect myself from these extra energies. The purpose was to raise my energy, to clear it, to be protected, to feel inspired, to feel connected. I needed to feel connected. When I don't feel like myself, I know it's because I've kind of lost my connection by my own doing usually. And I wanted to do that. So I sat with it and I meditated and I kept using my breath to strengthen it, brighten it, make it clearer. I visualized it going out and I visualized what I wanted that light to look like around me and in me, everywhere. And I also, again, wanted to feel it. I wanted to see what it felt like. Because if I can feel something, I can kind of hold on to that when I'm meditating and bringing in that. And with this light and the love, intentionally bringing it in, I was strengthening my energy, of course, but I was also connecting to the divine and I was moving into that surrendering phase. I was able to do that. And within that light comes that natural state of hope, because that's what we are. We are the love and light, and within that is the hope. The hope is always there. It hasn't gone away. And when we think and feel hopeless, it's because we think it's gone away, that there's no hope, there's nothing there. But it's always there. It's like that little spark. It just doesn't go away. Thank you, people who are posting that for me. Thank you. I love you all, because I needed that reminder. So it's a great article. You're going to love it. When we don't have the hope, it's because we believe something is wrong. Okay? But if we're in our energy, if we're connected with the love and the light, then nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. No matter what's happening, nothing is wrong. It is all in divine order. It's perfect. It's just the way it's supposed to be. So intentionally strengthening our love and light gets us back into the divine energy. So I've got the three, right? The surrender, feel the emotions, and bringing in the love and light intentionally. The energetic component has to be there as well. It has to be. We can understand things energetically and intellectually in our heads. We can understand them there, but without the feelings of the energy, without understanding there's an energetic component, we can't quite make the shift as much as we want to. Now, of course, with surrendering, that's an energetic thing. So that's why it's all a little bit different. If you Google something about, releasing hopelessness or transforming hopelessness or something, you're probably not going to see these things listed. You're going to see things like, focus on the positive, turn off the news. Yes. Other things like that, take care of yourself, self-care, eat right, exercise, which are excellent, and do them. But I always want to give you something a little bit different. Now, the last one, of course, is my other favorite one, which is trust. And with all of these things, that's it. My client the other day, and he had not listened to any of my shows. He didn't know about them. He just found me on the internet. he said to me, I've noticed that my life has a tendency to work out. I don't have to know where I'm going. And when I don't know where I'm going, it's actually kind of freeing. I feel like things just happen exactly as they're supposed to. And I was so excited. And I was like, yes. I said, that is such a frequent comment on my shows where I talk about this, that we don't have to know. If we will just trust, everything works out just the way it's supposed to. Granted, there are times things work out not the way we want them to, but we can also find those different ways of doing things. So can we trust? Can we trust spirit? Can we trust God? Can we trust ourselves? Can we trust life? Can we do it? Something to help you trust, move into trust. And this worked really well for me, and it still does for many years. Recognize that one of the ways that we lose hope, one of the ways where we're not trusting, is that we are attached to specific outcomes. So all of these people ask me, when is the pandemic going to end? And I can tell you that there was a day, it was probably this past weekend when I was having a struggle, and I started to look out and I wanted to see. And then I thought, you know what? No, I don't want to know. I'm just going to come back right now. So we're attached to this one specific outcome. If we knew when it was going to end, we'd be okay. When the first shutdowns happened, we're like, oh yeah, this will be like, just a few weeks, then we'll be back to normal. We'll be able to go do everything we want to do. And then it kept getting extended, or there were with the phases here in New York State. We had all of these things. So when I tried to go out, I had to come back to the present. Because in my emotions, if I am not, usually my emotion worries and stuff like that come because I'm thinking of the future. If I can stay in the present, then I don't have to worry about that. So that's another part of this, being attached to specific outcomes and trusting, stay in the present, stay here. We feel hopeless and powerless because things aren't going the way we want them to. We have, and we all do this, specific things we want. I want to go to Florida in February. Will I be able to go to Florida in February? I don't know. That'll be a real bummer for me if I don't get to go, because you know how much I love my ocean and my sun. However, I don't know, So we feel this. We don't know the ending. We don't know the conclusion. We don't know the solution. And we don't want to feel badly, so we want those certain things and we get attached. But if we can release that attachment to that specific outcome, no matter what it is, then you're trusting. You may not believe you're doing it, but just the awareness that, oh, I'm thinking about this. Now, my daughter was applying for a job, did apply for a job, had an interview, everything. And I was so attached to that outcome. I wanted her to get that job so badly, so badly. And I'm just in my head, I'm going, okay, don't get attached, don't get attached. Part of it was I didn't want to jinx it, But I'm like, don't get attached, don't get attached. It'll work out just the way it's supposed to. No worries, no worries. And I managed to get out of that, and she did get the job. So I was very excited. So when we release these attachments, it does make it better for how we feel. So if oh, this is beautiful. Darlene is saying, sometimes it works out better when we don't know how things are going to end. I have so noticed that. Think back on your life, on where you are now, and I don't mean like the pandemic stuff now, but think about some of the things you've done. Think about where you are, the people you're with, whatever it is, and you go back, 20 years or whatever, and you think, I had no idea I was going to come out here. I had no idea I was going to become a medium. I had no idea I was going to be talking to you guys on Facebook. Of course, we didn't have that then, but I had no idea about these things. And look at how it just works out. It just goes where it's supposed to. And like my client said, it's very freeing if we just trust it's going to work. And with all of this, you actually feel better. You feel better. You don't have to stay stuck in the hopelessness. You're creating the hope. And because I'm giving you we'll call them how-to action steps, but it's not the normal ones, of course. So when you surrender, what you're doing is you're trusting the divine. You're allowing the God energy, the universal energy, spirit to guide you. When you surrender, you're allowing. When you feel your emotions and let them come up and out and acknowledge them and honor them so you can process them, you're actually trusting yourself. And you're actually believing in yourself. You're believing in your capabilities to be able to handle it. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're honoring yourself. So you're trusting and honoring yourself. When you bring in the love and the light, what you're doing is you're integrating yourself with the divine energy. You're trusting your connection. Isn't that amazing? You're trusting your connection. All of these things go together with the trust. Yes, Doris Lynn is saying you need to go with the flow. You don't know what's down the road. Yep. We don't know. We just got to go with it and see what happens. So when we do this, when we're trusting, we're allowing ourselves to be guided. We're learning to trust ourselves. We're learning to go, I am a little uncomfortable. I'm feeling uncertain. I don't know what's going to happen. And you know what? It's okay, because I know it's going to work out just the way it's supposed to work out. And I'm going to allow it to work out that way. And so when you have the emotions, you play with them. You check it out. You play with it and you say, okay, now, wanting to transform the hope, have the hope while we're in the darkness and all of that. I want to make sure you understand that it's important to honor that darkness as well, and to realize that you're learning in all of this. You're learning all of the time. Okay, so telling you these ideas to help you have hope in the dark is not because I want to diminish the darkness or the pain or anything like that. I just want you to learn more about yourself and strengthen your connection. So you can have this hope even in the dark. You can have it. I had a client say the other day, well, I feel badly because I'm actually really enjoying this time and I feel like I shouldn't be enjoying it. I'm enjoying learning about myself. I'm enjoying exploring different things I haven't been able to do. And I was like, it's okay. You can do that. It's okay. And, I'm always talking about we raise our vibration. We're helping people around us, intentionally or not. And it's okay to do that. So we want to acknowledge that part too. So it's okay. When we have this hope, when we recognize our connection, we're returning to the light of our soul. We're strengthening that divine connection, and you're moving into that power of the soul. And the power of the soul helps you see things from a higher perspective. It raises your vibration. It's helping in all ways. You're recognizing, and I know all of you do, that you are unlimited. There are no limitations here. And I know you all realize that we're all connected. We've got that God energy going. We're all connected. And where everything is as it should be. We all know this. There is always hope, even if you feel like there isn't hope. And some days, so, the other day, when I wasn't feeling so hot, I had to sit with it. It took a long time. And I worked on it, and I did some readings that day too, and great information came through, so that was good. I was a little concerned, but Spirit will get through. They know how to do it. They know how to work in my head, bless them. So they know what to do. But this hope is always there. So sometimes it takes a little bit to find it again, but it's always there. It doesn't go away. It is a part of the God energy. We just have to remember and rediscover that light again. That's all we have to do, is remember it. And there's nothing wrong with us feeling blissful even in this solitude and having this. Let's see. Yes, Doris Lynn is saying, if others want to fight, that is their free will. Learn to be an observer. Yes, help them if asked. So many people are, a lot of stuff is coming up now. So people are reacting and sometimes overreacting. So we have to just let people be the way they are. So that's what we're going to do. And it's okay for that. I will post that article tomorrow because you guys, you will really love it. It actually was published quite a few years ago, but it's so much more appropriate right now about living in your light and how you are here on purpose because you are contributing to this upliftment, this consciousness shift. You are here because you're ready to be here. You're ready. You chose it to be here. So that's what's happening. Okay, this is so much fun. Somebody is standing outside of my house looking in here at me while I'm doing my show. Isn't it funny? I'm like, hi, nice to see you. So that's really funny. Ashley, I have an 8-year-old and I'm struggling with dealing with this darkness and connecting to the divine, but also trying to deal with her big emotions and not knowing what to say in terms of the uncertainty. I have no idea how children are handling what's happening right now. I have no idea how they're doing it. Kids are so much more resilient than we are for the most part, so they can handle so much and process stuff faster. Probably because they're in touch with their emotions, most of them, isn't it? Yeah. And the big thing when we're dealing with a kid would be to do what you're doing with keeping yourself peaceful and calm as much as possible. Envision the light coming in. You can envision the light in your house. You can play really uplifting music, something that's very purifying. All of those things to kind of clear your house. Not that it's a problem with the house, okay? Don't read into that. But just to raise the vibration up and all of that. And she's going to reflect how you're feeling too. It's kind of like animals. Animals pick up on our energy, and you'll see them trying to console us, and you'll see them trying to make us feel better because they're picking up on the energy, and it's natural for them to want to help energetically. Very interesting. Yes. Yeah, kids are probably handling it better than most adults. They really are. And the kids too, because now we're all talking about whether they're going back to school in the fall, and the kids need the routine and the structure, and it's so that's going to be another whole layer. So we'll just see what happens, and with that, oh yes, is it Evie? I hope I'm saying it right, Evie. She's saying, I'm kind of struggling with being unemployed. How do I not be attached to an outcome? How can I look at this in a different way? That's a tough one, isn't it? Because we do have physical needs here, money. We do have that. And also, we also have to grieve the change in our structure as well, how to do that. It's a little bit, it can be more challenging sometimes to move into the trust just because of our human nature. So I would recommend that you make an affirmation for yourself or a mantra that you repeat as much as possible. I'll give you a suggestion. You can, of course, modify it to make it fit your situation. I would say something like, I'm trusting in the divine. I understand that everything is working out perfectly for me. I trust that I am connected to abundance, love, and success. I know that all will be well. Oh, that was pretty good. Don't know where that came from. So that was pretty good. So something along that line. You may not want to make it that long, but something that affirms to you that all will be well, that you trust that abundance is coming to you. Sometimes it's easier to say abundance than money, because money, we kind of get a little clutchy on. We want to grasp it. But if we say abundance, that can cover so many things, not just money, but also job opportunities or certain people who might help us or whatever. So we have that as well. And of course, I understand. I know that you're, looking for jobs or waiting to get back to work, whichever it is for you. I know you're doing those things, and just touching in for a moment psychically, I don't feel like you have to worry too much about this. Okay. I just feel like within a few months. So we'll see. I hate to give out predictions because I don't want to get your hopes up and nothing happen, but it doesn't feel like it's a big deal to me. So, yes, Darlene is saying losing a job is grief. Yes, it is. It's a change. And even if you haven't lost your job, you're just I don't want to minimize, laid off because of the situation. It's still a problem, and there's still sadness involved. So I would really affirm a lot about trusting as much as you can. You may feel like you don't believe it. You may think, oh, geez, but try to feel into it as much as you can and repeat it as much as you have to repeat it. I used to have those things pop up on my phone. I post sticky notes all over the place with whatever affirmations I'm working on now. They're everywhere, just to keep my mind in that place, and that will help. It will definitely keep you going the way you're supposed to. So that should help at least give you some thoughts to start moving in that way. And of course, we have to take action. So I know you're going to do whatever you have to do, whichever situation you're in right now. Okay. So I do believe that is all I was going to talk about tonight. Let me just check, make sure I didn't miss anything I need to talk about. Oh, Brandy, how do we keep positive in such a negative world around us? I have a really hard time fighting all the negative energy around me. The first thing you want to do is not focus on the negative energy, because that's what we see. Our mind naturally gravitates towards worst case scenarios. It naturally gravitates towards danger, and danger means negativity. It's a negativity bias in our brains. We just look for danger because if we know where the danger is, we can protect ourselves. Okay, that's how we've been operating our whole lives. We have been looking for danger and negativity to protect ourselves, but now everything's shifting, so we're not doing that anymore. So you want to look for those things that are more positive. The affirmations really do work. You've got to have the feeling with it. And I know people say, oh, they don't work, they don't work. I was trying to affirm $1 million. It's like, no, you got to go for feelings. You're affirming the feeling. So that's what you want to do. People around you who are difficult and challenging. I did a show on that before, where sometimes you have to separate yourself from them. You have to limit your time. I know I have to limit my time. I can't spend time with people who are argumentative and angry and all of that. I can't. You have to limit my time online. I don't want to be on Facebook all of the time because sometimes it gets crazy on there. So I try to do that too. So you've got to find those practical things that you need to do, the physical practical things, but the energetic component definitely needs to be in there as well. I would also suggest, and then I will stop talking, that you can do a gratitude list. Just do a gratitude list. I always start listing those things. You know, I tell my clients, one of the first things I tell all the coaching clients that I have and stuff is to list 50 things they love about themselves. That's a lot harder than it appears for some people. A friend of mine couldn't get past three. I could have come up with 10 on my own just for her. She couldn't get past it. So that might be something fun to do, to play with, but not as an opportunity to go, oh my God, I'm so horrible. I can't think of anything good about myself. If you don't know, you can't think of anything good about yourself, ask some people who love you. What are 3 good qualities I have? What are 3 wonderful things you think I have? How am I wonderful? In 3 different ways. Ask people. You might be surprised to find out what people tell you. That is fun to do. I had to do it for a workshop once, and I was in tears by the end. It was so sweet and so nice. You know, you just felt like, oh, wow, I do make a difference. And so that might be something to do too. Okay, those are some good thoughts and suggestions popped into my head. Yeah, Barb is saying the dark side blew up on Friday and I'm moving through it. Yes, I understand. Barb, you just had your birthday. That's not right. So happy birthday, Barb. Her birthday was just the other day. And so some of those ideas can help. Okay, so I will wrap up. I've been talking all night for you. So in case you don't know who I am, Colleen van der Zijden, please follow me on Facebook. Colleen van der Zijden, medium and intuitive life coach. My website, ColleenVanderZijden.com. I know I've been telling you about some of the things coming up. It kind of picked up at Lilydale, so I got a little bit busier. So I'm a little behind on my work. My poor assistant, she's just doing everything for me and telling me what to do now. That's the way to do it. She's a great assistant. And so it's perfect. So we're going to be getting some stuff out for you guys soon. Some new things, some new ideas. It's going to be so much fun. And let's see. I told you about the workshops in the beginning. I think that's about it. So you guys have a most wonderful week and enjoy it. I don't know if I'll be here next week or not. I have to prepare for my workshops that I'm teaching. I've been working on that. It's a little different because it's all online now. So it's not quite what I had prepared in mind here. So I have to kind of modify it. And I want to make sure it's interesting, of course. And we're going to have some fun there, even though we are going to be talking about grief for the first one. Second one being an empath and how to do it. So we are going to do that. It's going to be wonderful. So you guys have fun, and I will talk to you probably next week. We'll see. If not, I'll do a little short video and give you some suggestion of some kind of things. Okay, have fun. Bye.